Okay, thank you very much for the intro, and I want to thank everybody for coming. I always enjoy doing these presentations. They're a lot of fun, and it's always nice to be able to teach people about what we do. And I have to say, we are quite a bit different from most of the other educator traders out there. Um, Let me get through the disclosure business first and just get out of the way the reality of the fact that if you trade futures, we trade futures, that's what we specialize in, but you can lose more money than you expect. You have to be very careful. These are government required disclosures, and just understand you can lose money trading. Hopefully, by learning and attending events such as this, you will minimize your risk and learn how to deal with risk so that you don't lose money. And I'm not so sure that I agree that 95% of all traders lose, because I know lots of traders that are making money. But just be careful. Don't trade over your head. Understand the risks involved, and also understand that we are here for educational purposes. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not licensed, but I am what I would consider to be an expert in the area that we specialize in. I'll give you a quick rundown. I really don't like PowerPoint presentations, but we all use them. They're quick, they're easy. It gives you an idea of who we are. One of our partners is Eric Spiker. That's him with his beautiful kids and his wife. And I'm going to shoot through this. We have a very exciting new feature that we gave to our members for free. And one of the things that I think is really good about us and our company is that we are not greedy at all. Anytime we upgrade our software, in all the time that I've been here, which is a couple of years, we have never charged our members for an upgrade. And I'm sure most of you understand the cost of programming. It's very expensive. But we are always looking to over deliver, give more than what is the perceived value of what we do. And we came out with a new setup. It's not just a trade, but it's a multiple collection of setups that allows you to design your own trade. And it's really changed our company. It's actually going to change our company. It's relatively new for us. We haven't been doing trade rooms with it yet, because we're very conservative and we're always looking for safety, small stops, and the ability to make a profit without losing very much. But we call it the one-click range trade. And actually, because NinjaTrader requires 2 clicks on every button that show up, we should have probably called it the 2-click range trade, but it doesn't really matter. The beauty of it is that it allows you to design a trade any way that you would like. So I'll get into that in a little bit. I'll just go through this PowerPoint real quick. Our founder is Jay Offner. He is a submarine commander in the Navy. He's in the U.S. Navy Reserves, works with the Department of Defense. Lucky enough to live in Hawaii. You can't beat that. And then this is me. I was and still am, a musician. I have 2 great kids. I'm a happy guy, happy person. I love what I do. And I'm what they call the director. I pretty much do a little bit of everything. Um, the name of our company, most people know us as JOBB. That's what we were called years ago. And we've had a brand change and a name trade, and we now actually call ourselves thenewstraders.com, because that's the crux of what we do. And we thought it would be a lot easier to find us. JOBB, we decided we would now just call our platform JOBB because we like the name. We can never stop calling ourselves JOBB, but when we say JOBB, that now is pretty much our platform. It's a platform that uses NinjaTrader. We have both NinjaTrader 7 and 8 available. As you know, NinjaTrader came out with a new version. We will be supporting new platforms hopefully this year. Not totally sure which ones yet, but that's a key area that we are looking at, is to get another 2 platforms programmed for our software. So we're definitely going to do that. Our software is very specialized. It's easy to use, but it's specialized in the sense that when you trade news, the last thing in the world you want to be doing is fumbling around on a chart trying to place an order 1 second before a news report comes out, because the whole idea of what we do is we want to trade news at the moment the report is released. So our software automates the entry, and I'll be able to show you exactly what I mean. This is an example of what you might see when you go to a site. We recommend various sites that you visit when you want to trade the news. And one of our favorite sites is forexfactory.com. When you go to that site, what you'll see are various reports that are coming out. Forex Factory has different ways of showing you those reports. In other words, by their importance. In other words, this is Forex Factory for this week. Actually, it's today. There was a final GDP report this morning. You can see that the folder is red, so that means that's an important piece of news. However, you see that natural gas is yellow, but that's also a very important piece of powerful news that moves natural gas quite dramatically every week, pretty much. So we go through a variety of different calendars to find the news that we're going to trade. And one of the things that our platform now lets you do, especially, we actually came out with 2 brand new ways to trade in the past year. We came out with something called the range trade, and we came out with something called the one-click range trade. And they're actually quite different. Traders love trading ranges, or they love trading the open. So for instance, a trader might want to trade, let's say today's NQ open, or I can show you yesterday's. I didn't record today's. So for instance, this is our one-click range trade. The left side is the only side that matters. I'm not looking at any of my indicators at all on my right side. In fact, all I could have is price. I don't need any indicators at all to run our software. I just happen to have an extra setup. When you're trading the open, the only indicator you need is this. We like this zone. It's called the dynamic SR color bands, and it's available on Futures.io, I believe. It's an excellent indicator that we use a lot with our one-click range trade. You'll notice that it has a zone, a top and a bottom to that zone, and very often our trade will take place above or below that zone. And this was our one-click range trade, trading yesterday's open. And it was the open of the NQ using a 2-tick, 210 tick chart, because we've discovered that that just happens to be an excellent time frame to use on the open. And you know, it's interesting. I could show an $8,000 or an $800 trade, but the opening trades right now are $80, $100 with 2 contracts. They're quick. They're almost a minute in length, maybe 2. But the key is you've created a range, this zone, and you're either going to enter above that range or below that range. You see my first target was already hit. I'm up $80 over here on the side, and I'm out of the trade with a profit of $100 in 55 seconds. And that was just one type of trade that we do. It's not really a news trade anymore, but we realized every market consolidates, opens, breaks out of its open, breaks out of its consolidation, so you can make up a trade based around that. We have trades, for instance, that we call the oil open years ago. Now the oil open has changed. It's not quite as good as it used to be because there's not an oil pit anymore. A couple of years ago, when there was an oil pit, pretty much like clockwork. You could trade the oil open, and I'll show you an example of it. This is an example of our range trade. Very simple. All we have on the chart are moving averages and a range, okay? And that range is 8:55 to 9 o'clock because that's when the pit used to open. And then these lines just represent that we're going to enter the trade 3 ticks above the range or 3 ticks below the range. You could see here now the market just opened at 9 o'clock. It still sort of thinks there's a pit, even though there isn't, but there's still a lot of traders out there that trade the oil open as if there is a pit. And you could see it pulled us in long. It's now going to follow through to the upside, I believe, if I remember correctly. And you're going to see that in about less than a minute or a minute or so, we're going to have a profit of, I think it was about $100 on this oil open in roughly maybe a minute, minute and a half. And again, this is not a typical standard news trade, which is our specialty. We're not getting away from trading news trades. In fact, we're always looking for new ones. And we're going to be looking at some new indexes that have come out. The Nikkei has an Osaka index that just came out a couple of months ago. We're going to start testing that. So we're always looking for new trades, but this was simply a very popular 9 o'clock oil trade. Oil at 9 o'clock used to really move. We're thinking now maybe we're going to change the time of that trade to 9:05 possibly, but that is an example of our range trade. Okay, so it's different than our typical news trade, and of course I'll get into those as well. And we find our news trade by going to various websites, like I said, Forex Factory, my FX book. You can go to Econoday. Econoday International is a great website to go to. FastEconomicNews.com happens to be a Forex site, but it's a great site to go to. They have a lot of news up there, a lot of reports that you could look at. One interesting thing about the way that we trade is if you use our news trading service, you can trade on a schedule. You don't have to watch charts all week, all day. We send out a report every week. We give you the weekly schedule. Okay, and the weekly schedule might look something like this. This was the week of June 18th to 22nd. This was last week's. And it basically shows you everything that we're interested in trading. Our official trades are building permits. These little strange ones are my personal notes. There's things that I look at in the hopes of maybe bringing new trades into the room. But our official trades, let me show you an official report, because this is an official report rather than one of mine. This is exactly what our boss sends us, the inventor of the system. It shows every trade that we're going to trade that week. So one of the things that people love about what we do is we trade on a schedule, okay? We have a live trade room. We don't trade every single report. One of the things that we're really big on is that we try to be very mindful of what reports are trading well. For instance, if GDP is trading poorly, then we might not trade that report. If Australian retail sales, if the last 4 months have been not very profitable trading, then we would not trade that live in the room. We would put a report on probation, double secret probation, if you know what I mean. But we are very, very mindful. We have favorite reports. We have reports that are 80% profitable that we trade heavier than other reports. It's our job to help you know what reports you should trade and what reports you should avoid. That's one of the main things that we do in our trade room, besides education. We are phenomenally big on education. It's our belief that we don't want you to just follow me and follow a moderator in the room. Following a moderator in a room, in most cases, leads to not the best ending for a trader. The best ending is when you learn how to do things on your own. So if we're not there, you could either make up your own trades, trade a trade slightly differently than we do, maybe better than we do, but we're not perfect. Our reports, which we send the day before, in other words, this is the ADP report, it was sent on 3/6. The report was 3/7. So we recommend how to trade it so you have a really good idea how to trade that report, how the report's been acting. But even more important, in our trade room, we're really up to date. We bring videos into the room of previous reports, which helps you to pick targets, maybe change your stop if you feel the stop needs to be bigger, or if for some reason the president had said something that day that's very impactful and it makes the market very volatile, then the report that we send might need adjustment. So our trade room is a critical place where we discuss these reports, go over them, and make any minor adjustments if they're needed. And that's the importance of being in our trade room. So I would stress that if you're interested in being a member of our service, please use our trade room, because you'll learn how to use the system faster, how to find trades faster, how to design your own trades, everything. You'll just learn our whole point for being is covered in the trade room, much faster than you could do yourself. We trade futures. We don't trade Forex. Everybody sort of knows that the Forex brokers manipulate prices before the news comes out. They try to make it a little bit harder for you to be successful. They don't all do that, but people tell us on a regular basis that the brokers make it hard for them to trade. Futures brokers, while no broker will ever be your friend, at least the futures brokers are reasonably transparent at the time of the trade. They're not manipulating price in general. They're not cheating. Okay, let's put it that way. And I'm not saying the Forex brokers are cheating. They're doing what they're allowed to do, but they're involved in a much less regulated business. So we like futures because it's more regulated, it's safer, and actually it works really well for trading the news. We do know people that are in our room trading Forex using our recommendations. And one of the other interesting thing about our company that I love is I'm just like you. I'm not a high level, incredible professional trader. I was just a regular person out there looking for the Holy Grail, just like you're all looking for. It doesn't exist. But I was out there going from room to room, guru to guru. And the one thing that drove me crazy is every room I went to, if I didn't use their software, I was penalized, or I wasn't even allowed to be a room member. We are the opposite. We want you in our room. We want people to share with us. We have an incredible community of people, and we don't penalize you if you don't want to use our software. Our software runs on Windows. We have Mac people in our room. We have people trading totally different ways of trading the news than we trade. And that's the beauty, I think, of our whole company and the way that we do things. We are not your regular guru, so to speak, but we are really flexible, easygoing, and don't throw a lot of rules at you and penalize you if you don't want to use our software. Yes, we'll bug you and send you emails trying to get you to sign up like everybody does, but in the trade room, we never, hardly ever do any selling at all. And we really just strictly talking about the trades, life, being a person in general, because trading is not just about money, but it's about how you feel, what's going on in the world, just you as a person. And we really care about our members, and we have a great community of people. So I just want to stress that you don't have to use our software. We think it's to your advantage if you do, but we're not going to punish you if you don't. We have another type of trade called the trap trade, which we use particularly when we think a news report is going to cause the price to reverse in a very predictable way. So the trap trade is actually a very low slippage trade that we invented, that we use on a lot of bank reports. A very interesting trade. We use it on the FOMC report, and it works very well. It's the kind of trade that when the market's going long, we're going short. When the market's going short, we're going long. So we like to call it our falling knife trade. It's a little bit scary, but it's not as risky as it sounds. It's actually quite effective. And we do the trap trade quite a bit. Of course, we have a members area, you know, all the usual stuff that everybody has. Our trade room, it's not brand new, but we didn't used to have one until I came on board. I was a member of JOBB, thenewstraders.com now. And at the end of a trade, I had nowhere to go, and it drove me crazy. I had no one to talk to and nobody to discuss the trade with. And I sat down a couple of years ago and wrote the owners of the company a letter. They ignored me. I wrote them another letter. They ignored me. I wrote them another letter, and finally they hired me. And they pretty much just let me run with all my ideas. And I upgraded the software platform. I started the trade room. And they've been great. They've just really given me a lot of freedom to make a lot of changes to the company that I thought could make the company even better than it was. And that's where we are now. So we have a trade room that we think is one of the best. It's a lot of fun. It's serious when it needs to be. We have a typical member site where you can go. Our owner and founder gives webinars, usually every 3 weeks, that are free, where he just discusses all of the trades that took place in the room, going over any things that happened out of the ordinary, whatever. So that's something that we do as well. As I said before, the one-click range trade was a major feature that we added to our software, and we gave that to all of our members for free. And we gave all of our members the range trade for free. And we're constantly updating our software. No joke, I just got an update today because I'm always thinking of ways that I want to trade. It's really, I'm selfish. It's not about just you guys and gals, it's about me. I want certain features in the platform that I think will make trading easier. And they let me do it almost every single time I have an idea. They let me do it. Our support, I think, is fantastic. I never understood companies that don't answer emails on the weekend. It's like, you know, the internet's not closed on the weekend. Why would you not answer your emails on the weekend? So when you talk to us, you could expect to hear from us all the time. We don't not answer our emails on the weekend. And sometimes we have Sunday night trade rooms if there's a trade, if we think it's worth looking at and trading. So, you know, a lot of our members, this is just the usual sales stuff, which I think is valuable. You don't have to watch charts all day just to remind you the things that we think makes us really good. You trade on a schedule, invent your own trades. Those are some of the major features that we have. This was a member who traded the oil report, traded about 10 contracts, which is a lot for the oil report because it is a very risky report. And he made over $4,000 on that report. Here is a member who traded it yesterday, and this is real. This is one of our favorite members. Traded the oil report yesterday, made $400 in about 10 seconds, I would say. Our average profitable breakout trade, the fast trade, they take seconds sometimes. Let me see if I can show you a couple of quick ones. If you bear with me, one of our favorite trades is the non-farm payrolls trade. We are, I would say we are easily 80% profitable on that trade. It's one of the best trades we've ever had. constantly successful. This was non-farm payroll. This happens to be January's. It really doesn't matter. I can show you non-farm payroll trades from almost every month that made money. We trade gold. We used to trade bonds on it. We trade the NASDAQ on it, which is new for us. And this will give you an idea. The trade takes place at 8:30. The clock hasn't started yet because I was showing this trade, probably a sample of the trade in the trade room. But once the clock starts, now there's 10, 12 seconds until the trade takes place. I was up $70 on something else before the trade, but watch how fast some of our trades can take place. It's exciting. It's a little scary. Our software put the orders on the chart, and then the report now comes out. I stopped the video because I was teaching in this particular trade room. So you'll see now there's 1 second before the trade's going to take place. Our software put those brackets above and below the price onto the chart, so you don't have to do it. You don't want to fumble around right before an impactful report's going to come out, because you might make a mistake, and then literally in 3 seconds, okay, let's say 8, the trade was over. Nope, I'm still in it, so I apologize. I think this might have been a long one. Yep, this trade's still going on. 15 seconds, $530 over in 20 seconds. That was a non-farm payroll trade. Let me show you another one. Here's a simpler trade. Let me see if I can find a newer one, if I have one. Let me see, bear with me 1 second. I love the non-farm payroll trade. Here's one of our members made $1,300. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little scrunched. He made $1,300 on the non-farm payroll. That is not abnormal. People make good money on this trade because it's so successful. They're willing to trade it with more than 1 or 2 contracts, and the success rate goes back to 2016. I mean, it goes back even further than that. This is how this trade moves. It made $320. It happened so fast. $320. That was a Twitter feed that I sent. It was seconds, literally seconds. Let me try and stop it before it's over. 8:30, the trade is done. We're almost out of the trade already. As you can see, I'm up $312. I'm out of the trade 5 seconds. Okay, that is not abnormal for non-farm payroll. It's a very fast trade. It's the nature of it. We trade it, as I said, with gold. We trade it with the NQ. We used to trade it with bonds. Bonds haven't been behaving well. And that's the other thing we do. If we find that an index isn't behaving, then it's our job to let you know that that index is not behaving. And we want to make sure that we get you trading an index that's going to hopefully try to make you some money. We don't want you to lose money on a trade. That's like the last thing that we want to happen. Let me try and show you a couple of other things that we have going here. Give me 1 second. My chart seems to be frozen, so let me go to a different one if I can. Thank goodness I can. So there are a lot of different things that we trade. We trade Australian trade balance when we trade the news. We trade the FOMC I was telling you. Here's an FOMC trade, a quick $200. That's a 2 o'clock trade. By 2:06, we were up. We made some notes. We were actually down $112 on that trade before the trade. So that was actually a $325 profitable trade. US retail sales is used to be a very popular trade. Here's one that I love. It's called the WASD. It's a grain trade. And it's a trade that is actually, there's a version of it coming out Friday called the quarterly grain report. It's a noon trade. It trades for us on corn or soybeans. And you can see here, it's going to be noon. And I don't even know how much I made or lost on this trade. I just happened to pull it out. I was up 40 before the trade. This happened to be a really good one. I made about $320 on it because by literally in a couple of seconds, it was 10 seconds. I went from 40 to 365. That's the WASD trade. And that's been a good trade for us. We love that trade. Retail sales, before they changed it, and again, our job, we want to tell you. Retail, one of our members made $937 trading US retail. But we now know that they have changed US retail. They've taken away, US retail used to trade with CPI or PPI at the same time. And now it's not doing that. So it's become a less impactful trade. So that's something that we stay aware of, okay? Because we want you to know whether or not you're going to have to do anything different the next time the retail trade comes around, okay? We trade natural gas. Natural gas, for instance, one of our members had an amazing natural gas trade in July. He made $820. Natural gas is one of our riskiest trades. 518, $100. And that was in 2017. $100 means they just made 10 ticks on that trade. Sometimes if a trade is very dangerous, you might just trade what we call a one contract trade. You might just go for 10 ticks, okay? You might not go, every trade isn't gonna be a $4,500 trade. Every trade isn't going to be $1 million trade. You have to be smart about it, okay? You want to trade properly, trade according to the margin you have in your account. Let me show you a quick trap trade too, because I know people are always curious about how the trap trade works. This was the Bank of England, which is a trap trade, a very effective trade for Bank of England. Bank trades tend to, what's the best way I could explain it? They reverse. This is a 7 o'clock trade, but the trap trade, we actually set up our orders right before the trade. We set our orders up around support and resistance. We put our orders above support if we don't have to move them too far, and we put them below resistance, okay? And that's what you see me doing here. And of course, we teach you how to do it. It's easy, it's not complicated. This is Bank of England. Remember, we're expecting to go the opposite way from the market. So the market went long and filled us short, okay? We're now expecting it to reverse, and our profit is gonna come on that reversal. So watch it, we're taking a tiny bit of heat. Now it's dropping, and I made $143. It says 43, but if you look under realized, it's 143. Okay, but that's how the trap trade works. It's a low slippage trade because when the market is going long, we're going short. It's the opposite of the breakout trade, which is our main news trade. The breakout trade is a much higher slippage trade because you're trading it at the exact moment that a report's being released. Another popular report that members trade on a regular basis, core durable goods. This was a core durable goods trade a member made $400 on very quickly. This was not a fast trade. Philly Fed, I don't even know what happened in this. This was very recent. Philly Fed, this one was April 19th. Member made 240. That's his charts. A little confusing for me. I wouldn't make my charts look quite that confusing, but he made 240 bucks on the Philly Fed trade. We trade, one of our members traded GDP, 50 bucks. And I mean, sometimes you only make 50 bucks on a trade. There's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed. every trade, like I said, is not going to be a home run. Build up your account. Sometimes you have a small account. Some people can only trade one contract. So it all varies. It all varies. Here's another member traded CB Consumer Confidence, $406 trading the yen. A very nice trade. Okay. And I can just go on and on. I've got so many. PPI, $90 trade. One of our members traded that. Another retail trade, a member traded. He made 203 on this. Okay. See it down there, 203. So he made that. Another retail, this was another member, 937. Trading, what did he trade there? 126.21. Looks like bonds to me. Looks like it might have been bonds. I'm not 100% sure on what that was. It might have been bonds. We trade PPI, CPI, you name it. If we haven't tested it, it doesn't exist. We have tried virtually every news report that's been released. We tried to trade it. If it's tradable, then we're going to have a trade room for it, and we're going to find a way to trade it, because that's what we do. I mean, that's our specialty. That's what we're always looking for. Our goal is to try to find low risk trades or ways to trade volatile trades as safely as possible. Some trades, just by their nature, are not volatile. Australian trade balance, you could see it's not that big of a move, okay? And we were trading quite a few contracts and made just $200. So that's a trade we know it's not going to, buy you a Rolls Royce, but it's also probably not going to stop you out totally. Australian retail, on the other hand, much more volatile, as you can tell by the size of the candle, the burst after the news came out. And that was a profitable trade also. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you that every trade was a winner. I got stopped out this morning on the GZP trade. I lost $100 because it just didn't pop. It didn't move the way that I needed it to move. And my risk was actually $200, and I was able to shrink my risk and just lose half. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you that every trade's a winner. No one would believe me if I said it. And, the idea is to try to make money on the great trades and try to lose as little as possible on the ones that go bad. The thing that I'm always looking forward to is I just love non-farm. We have so many examples of that non-farm trade because it's been so profitable for so many years. So many different members have traded it profitably. It's just incredible. I could just keep showing you picture after picture. $437. Some people only trade 2 or 3 reports a month. For instance, non-farm, another $437, different person. Non-farm again, let me show you another one. Different month, $500. It just goes on and on with non-farm. Another non-farm, $750. It's an amazing trade. Some people only trade that report. I'm not kidding. Or they'll trade non-farm, they'll trade the FOMC, which is a very successful report for us. They'll stick with maybe 5 reports that trade as what we call an 80% or 75% profitability ratio. So that's what we do. If anybody wants to ask me any questions, I've got a couple of minutes left. I want to show you what my offer is for this webinar. We think that you should try us out, not panic, worrying about learning Ninja if you're not a NinjaTrader user. So what we decided to do is normally it costs $197 a month to use our whole service. Software, alerts, everything. What we're going to do for this webinar, and all you have to do is go to www.newjob.ninja, 2 B's and JOBB, and we're going to give you 2 months for $47. Okay, 2 months. It renews at 97 after that. Okay, you can cancel before that if you want. We're easy. We're not going to force you to stay. We believe you're going to want to stay. I mean, you have to just trade one trade well, and you've paid for the whole offer. $47 for 60 days is ridiculous. But the catch is it expires tonight. If you don't take advantage of this offer tonight, I'm raising back the price. And I'm serious. I'm raising the price back up. It's going to go back to $197 a month. You can email me today if you have any extra questions at procol33@gmail.com. procol33@gmail.com. It includes everything that we offer. It's a ridiculous, ridiculous email. It's a ridiculous, ridiculous offer. We don't want you to have to rush. We don't want you to have trouble learning. We want you to take your time. We want you to make money on our dollar, because $47 is ridiculous. It's cheap. It's too cheap. My boss didn't want to do it. It's new job, JOBB.ninja. All you have to do is go there, sign up. We will give you 2 months. Are those that are 75%, 80% profitable same? Yes, Dennis, prime trades are the trades that are 75% to 80% profitable. And then there's a level of trades that exists just under prime. And there's probably 5 to 7 prime trades a month, Dennis. Trades that if you only traded those, you'd probably only get stopped out on 1 or 2 of them as a general rule, because they work so well so often. And then there's probably about 8 what I call trades like we have today. We have the 7-year note trade or the 7-year bond trade. It's been trading pretty well. So we'll trade that live. But trades that trade poorly, we will not trade them. Okay, we will sim them in the room and watch it and explain why we passed on it. So all you got to do is go to www.newjob.ninja. Anybody that signs up today, we will give you the rest of the year's worth of our reports that come out the day before the trade, whether you stay or not. Okay, if you leave before the 60 days is up, we'll still give you the reports. The $47 is not refundable. It's a ridiculous amount of money to spend. I think anybody who wants to learn about news trading, in one day in our trade room, I guarantee you we give more than $47 worth of information on how to trade the news, how to look for a proper trade. So it's really to your advantage. It's something every trader should know about. You should at least know when news is coming, because if you're in a discretionary trade when the news is coming out and you don't know that news is coming out, it could blow you right out of that trade and cost you a lot of money. Okay, so you should know about the news no matter what. And for just $47 for 2 months, you could take advantage of every single thing that we offer, our trade room, our member website, all of our software, all of our setups. You could learn everything that we know about trading the news. It's not that complicated. It's something that everyone can do if you put the time in, just like anything. Trading payroll news is about super high-speed execution. What kind of slippage is typical? Boz, I hope I pronounced your name right. It always depends on what you're trading, how fast your internet is, how fast your platform execution is. So every trader has different amounts of slippage, but the whole idea is this: I don't worry about slippage. I don't think about slippage, because the goal of our news trades is to pick the trades that are going to move so well, they're going to blast through the slippage no matter what it is, and still give you a profit when you go through that slippage. Do you follow me? In other words, we want the move to be bigger, way bigger than what the slippage is. But you could take an oil trade. You could easily get 8 ticks of slippage on an oil trade, but you could still I made $220 on yesterday's oil trade, okay? And that was live, and that was trading at the moment the report came out. And that's a high slippage report in general. So slippage is there. It's something you want to be concerned with. We have a document that if you email me, I'll send it to you for free, that will help reduce your slippage on your computer no matter what. I've got 1 minute left. Go to newjob.ninja. We'll give you free reports. It expires tonight. We're sticking to it. 47 bucks for 60 days. 2 B's in job, www.newjob.ninja. I want to thank the people at Traders Talk. So nice of them to have me here. I hope that you've learned something about news trading. At least you have 3 websites to go to: forexfactory.com, fasteconomicnews.com, econoday.com. Use that all the time. I thank you all for having me, and it's time for the next person. So I'm going to sign out. Thank you once more.